What if fear itself could be learned? Not from a roaring fire or a charging animal, but from something completely harmless, like a soft white rabbit or even a Santa Claus mask. Today, we're exploring one of psychology's most debated experiments, the Little Albert study, conducted by John B. Watson and Rosalie Rayner in 1920. It's a fascinating, unsettling chapter that shaped our understanding of learning and emotion, and helped spark conversations about research ethics that still continue today. It is Jose here from Train Me Please. Let's go. In the early 20th century, behaviorism was transforming psychology. Ivan Pavlov had recently shown that dogs could learn to salivate at the sound of a bell if it was repeatedly paired with food, a process known as classical conditioning. Behaviorists propose that much of human behavior, even emotion, could be learned through interactions with the environment. Watson and his graduate student, Rayner, wanted to test whether these principles applied to people too. Specifically, whether an emotional response like fear could be conditioned in a young child. They asked three main questions. 1. Could a baby learn to fear a neutral object if it was paired with something frightening? 2. Would that fear generalize to other similar objects? 3. And how long would the fear last once learned? To find out, they needed a participant. Their subject was an infant nicknamed Little Albert, about 9 months old, described as healthy and calm. Before conditioning began, they introduced Albert to several neutral items: a white rat, a rabbit, a dog, a mask, and some cotton wool. He showed curiosity, but no fear at all. They also tested his natural reaction to a loud sound, striking a steel bar behind his head. Unsurprisingly, he startled and cried. That unconditioned fear response would soon become the basis for the experiment. When Albert was about 11 months old, Watson and Rayner began pairing the two stimuli. Each time Albert reached for the white rat, they struck the steel bar behind him. After only a few pairings, a clear change occurred. Albert began to cry and move away at the sight of the rat alone. Even without the sound, the once neutral rat had become a conditioned stimulus, producing a learned fear response. The researchers then wanted to see whether Albert's fear would extend to other things. They showed him a rabbit, a dog, a fur coat, a Santa mask, and even the cotton wool. Albert reacted with distress to all of them. His learned fear had generalized to other soft, white or furry objects. They also tested him in a new environment, a lecture hall, and found his reactions were still present, though weaker, suggesting the fear was somewhat context-dependent. A month later, they retested him. Some responses had faded, but he still avoided the rat and rabbit. He also showed anxious behaviors like thumb-sucking and shuddering, which may have been ways of coping with stress. Watson and Rayner concluded that emotional responses could be conditioned in humans, much like Pavlov's dogs. They also observed generalization and the early stages of extinction, the gradual weakening of a learned response when the stimulus is presented alone. However, later reviews have highlighted several methodological issues. The study used only one participant, making it impossible to generalize the results. There was no control group, so Albert's reactions might have reflected general nervousness rather than specific conditioning. Some of the recorded reactions were inconsistent, and later analysis of the film footage suggests his fear may have been less pronounced than reported. In addition, they sometimes conditioned multiple stimuli directly, which blurred the distinction between generalization and new learning. These limitations mean the findings should be interpreted cautiously. While the study is famous for its role in psychology's history, it's equally well known for its ethical problems. There was no informed consent as we understand it today. Albert's mother may not have been fully aware of what the study involved. The procedures deliberately caused distress, and the researchers never completed the planned deconditioning process to remove the fear responses. We also have no long-term follow-up, so we don't know whether Albert's fears persisted or faded naturally. By today's ethical standards, this study would not be approved. Modern research ethics prioritize informed consent, participant well-being, and the right to withdraw, all principles that were not yet formalized at the time. For many decades, Albert's true identity was unknown. In 2009, researchers suggested he might have been a boy named Douglas Merritt, who died at age 6 from hydrocephalus. If true, that would mean Watson and Rayner's healthy infant description was inaccurate. Later, another possible identity, William Albert Barger, was proposed. Debate continues, and there's still no definitive answer. What remains clear is that much about the child and his later life is uncertain. Despite its flaws, the little Albert experiment influenced psychology in lasting ways. It supported the idea that emotions can be shaped by experience, helping lay the groundwork for behavior therapy techniques that use conditioning principles, such as systematic desensitization and exposure therapy. At the same time, it became a cornerstone case in discussions of research ethics, reminding scientists of their responsibility to protect participants, especially vulnerable ones. Today, little Albert's story is taught not as an example of success, but as a vital lesson in both methodology and morality. It marks a turning point where psychology began developing stronger ethical standards to ensure that the pursuit of knowledge never comes at the expense of compassion. If you took some value from this video, could you please click the like button below so that more viewers can find this content? Cute photo as a thanks. Leave me a comment below with the keyword Albert. That will let me know that you watched the video to the end. I also have a full course on behavior modification principles that I am sure you will love. Link in the description below. Next, watch this other video here about a classic concept in psychology. Obrigado e até breve. Ciao.